Hello everyone, this is our poster, Increasing Student Success via a Novel Pre-Medical STEM Course. My name is Brad Rabquer. I'm the director of the Lisa and James Wilson Institute for Medicine, and I'm also an associate professor in the biology department at Albion College. My co-author on this project is Carla McCavitt. Carla is the director of our Quantitative Studies Center, and she's also an instructor in our math department. This project is part of an overall strategy as we look at redesigning our pre-medical curriculum. One of our guiding principles is that our pre-medical students are overburdened with the number of courses that they take, and it is that much harder for them to succeed and to be a liberal arts students and build the competencies that they need to succeed in the future. And in doing this project, we wanted to build pathways for all of our students. Albion College is a liberal arts school in southern Michigan. We have students from inner city areas of Detroit, of Chicago, of Houston, Los Angeles. We have students from rural Indiana and rural Michigan. We have students that come into Albion with a plethora of IB and AP and dual enrollment credits. And we have students that are completely underprepared coming out of high school, that are good, hardworking students, but have not had the opportunities to build the skills in high school that they need to succeed in their introductory science courses. So that's really where this idea for this class started. What are the barriers for students to succeed in these introductory courses in biology and chemistry and math and physics? And how can we build a curricular element to help students succeed in our introductory sequence? So we created this pre-medical STEM class. This past fall was the first time we ran it. And I'm not going to read this whole slide here. You can pause and take a look if you want, and I'd be happy to send a syllabus for those that are really interested. Overall, the course had kind of two big goals. One was on that content side that I just said about math and biology and chemistry and physics. Can we do some pre-teaching in some of these areas that are the most common stumbling blocks, the areas where students most struggle in math in the first semester of chemistry, for example? And then perhaps even more important, can we help the students build successful strategies, not just for this course, but in their future courses? So we had a whole nother layer on the course that we call student success strategies to help them build those skills to set them up for success further on in the curriculum. We built our cohort for fall 2019 for this first running of this class, not with like rigid selection criteria in mind. Mostly they had to be interested in a career in medicine, so they were pre-med students coming in. We were looking for a combination of an SAT score, GPA, highest math course taken in high school, the scores on the Albion College placement tests, and we're kind of looking for more of a holistic view of a student that is at risk. The students that might come into our program in years past as pre-med, they might take a biology or chemistry course in their first semester. They would do poorly in that course, and we would never see them again. Right? That's really the student that we're aiming here for. So that wouldn't be the case. So we can help them make that first step and then continue on in the program should they choose to. So overall, we selected 12 students into this course. They had an SAT average of 1082. We had 6 males, 6 females, and 5 of the students were from groups that are traditionally underrepresented in medicine and science. The course structure it was team taught and broken up into 4 parts. The first part we did was math, a lot of algebra, mostly to prepare them for work in chemistry. The chemistry was again some of these key ideas in a typical first semester intro chemistry course that then led into biology, and finally, as the class wrapped up, some applied physics. There was a lot of active learning in those modules, a lot of in-class activities, homeworks, quizzes to keep them motivated and keep them progressing in the content area. And then we had a comprehensive final exam at the end. Built throughout this course was the student success strategy portion. These were required activities to guide students towards behaviors and habits to help them succeed in this class and their future math and science courses. So they had required office hours. They had required use of study tables. We hired a model student to work with the students in the class. And the idea there was not our best student, not our 4.0 pre-med student that's a junior or senior, but a student that knows how to work with peers of different backgrounds and abilities and could really serve as a strong resource in the class and taking notes and giving them a direct representation of how you actually interact with your peers and study table or your professors in an office hour setting. So these activities were paired with reflections, assignments, self-management, and a lot of direct motivation in class. Carla, who's the co-author on this poster, this presentation, she also attended every single class with the students, and her expertise is in this area, and so she did a large part of guiding the development of this portion of the program. Okay, so that was the setup for the class. Now we're going to look and see how these students performed and some of the different outcomes that we've measured. So overall, the average grade in the class was a 2.2, and the distribution you can see there. So we had some students that performed pretty well and got 3, 4, and quite a number of students that really struggled. Again, all of these students were at risk for not performing well in introductory science courses. So we were not too surprised that there was a lot of students struggling in this course. We'll come back to maybe some of the more reasons why towards the end. We also looked at the different subsections and how each student performed there as well. The student success strategies, math and chemistry, those scores were all about the same, around 80%. Biology, which we were surprised, came out the lowest. The students going in expressed interest in biology, and they felt that they were well prepared in biology, but they performed the worst in that area. In physics, we were kind of worried about physics to begin with. It's a difficult subject for students that are not prepared well in the sciences, and that one kind of held up that students really did struggle in physics as well. Along with those, the grades that came out of the class, we also administered a number of questionnaires, including a questionnaire on the first and last day of class, asking students to rate their confidence level within each subject area. So the graph that you're seeing is the student reported confidence level at the beginning of the year, and showing their confidence ranging from low to high in the 4 content areas, as well as in general about their overall thoughts and how well prepared they are for college level work. And as you can see, at the beginning of the semester, not many students in the green there reported a high level of confidence for college level work. However, at the end of the class, 5 of those students rated their confidence level as high in transitioning to college level work in math and science compared to 0 on day 1. So that was a pretty positive indicator for us that the students, at least a portion of the class, was feeling much stronger about being able to start introductory science courses than where they were at the beginning of the fall semester. One of the outcomes we were very interested in was retention, the fall-spring retention in particular. So we saw that 11 of the 12 students that we selected from this cohort that began in the fall, they remained at Albion into the spring and completed the spring semester. And I put some comparison numbers there for our institution. The Wilson Institute is our pre-health program, and we saw 88% of those students, and there's about 110 students that were in that program. at the time. 88% continued through. The Britain Path program is a program that builds additional support for students that are deemed high risk overall to stay in college. And it's a good comparison group because our pre-med students are in our program are not at risk of failing out of college. They're at risk of kind of being in that limbo spot where they fall between academic probation and success. So maybe like in that 2 to 2.5 to 3.0 range where they're not progressing towards medical school, but they're also not triggering some of these extra kind of high impact practices that support students that are in danger of dropping out of college. And then our overall Albion College rate for that retention was 80%. For the spring semester, we analyzed the students' success in the fall and helped them build working with the advisors in the Wilson Institute, helped them build a schedule for the spring semester that continued on their pre-med path and taking courses that they were best prepared for. So, for example, if a student felt confident in chemistry in the PreMed STEM course unit and did well in the chemistry in the math section, they were then placed into the first semester chemistry class for the spring 2020 semester. So overall, then after this first year, the students in the PreMed STEM class had an overall GPA of a 3.04 and a 2.84 science GPA. And those numbers weren't too far off from the students in the Wilson Institute in totality. Again, the Wilson Institute being our pre-med, pre-health program, and many of those students in that program are very high achieving. So we were very pleased with the ability for the students to succeed in their science courses in their second semester in the spring of 2020. Now, the big caveat there is the spring 2020 semester, obviously, is our COVID semester. And so a lot of the analysis is going to be interrupted as Albion moved to online instruction in March of 2020 and really disrupted a lot of everything, obviously, including our conference. And so it's kind of hard to make clear conclusions about this project off that spring semester. So we'll continue, obviously, to track these students and assess these students going forward. So to wrap things up, we developed a new course to precede our introductory science courses. This is a resource-intensive class. It was a small class. We had a high faculty-to-student ratio. We had an additional staff member that oversaw the student success side of the course. And going forward, we have a number of questions that we're asking ourselves. Should we be able to offer it this fall? We are actually in the middle of changing our academic calendar for fall 2020 due to the COVID pandemic. And so we still don't know if we're going to be able to offer this class in the fall. We're going to look more closely at who should be in it. Did we reach the right criteria for students to be in this class? For the students that struggled, a lot of the students that did struggle, their engagement was fairly low, and we were worried about that throughout. So we're looking at ways, if we do offer this course again, to increase engagement throughout the course. And then lastly, we're also looking at, should we reduce the content areas? We had a class that was team taught by 4 faculty members in 4 content areas for first semester, high risk students. And that seems to be a lot. We might have overreached on that. And so our first thought would be to reduce the physics. So remove the physics out of the course, focus on math, biology, and chemistry. We're also considering pairing this class with an introductory math course and moving all the math content to a separate course altogether that would be paired with this PreMed STEM class. So more good stuff to come. If you have any questions, hopefully we can reach out by email through the conference. And thanks for your time.